Hey y'all, welcome to the Honesty Circle, the safe space to discuss growing in adulthood, mental health, faith, and all the things in between. It's your host, Sierra Elise, and I hope you're taking care of not only your mental and spiritual, but your emotional and physical health so you can be your best self this week. Welcome to the Honesty Circle. I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Virginia. I'm going to let her introduce herself, kind of sharing what she's passionate about, what she does for fun, who she is, and like things that bring her joy.
Everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you, Sierra. And like she said, I am Virginia, and I am a mom of two, a wife, friend, entrepreneur. Um, and yeah, I just like to help people, educate people, enlighten and encourage people, and just edify people that God brings into my space and I get to encounter. And so, yeah, everything kind of flows from there for me.
Yeah. What is the last thing that you did that like fueled your soul?
Ooh, mm, that is a really good question. That fueled my soul. Man, actually, a week or so ago, not this past weekend, but the week before, I actually just took a little solo trip to
Oh,
California.
that's
Nothing too big, nothing
nice.
too major.
Yeah.
But I just went on my own and I was like, my friend's mom is having a whole conference. I'm gonna go there and I'm just going to allow you guys to just pour into me and do what you want to do just in this time. So while it wasn't as vacation-esque as you would think or you would, kind of want to do on a solo trip, when I say it refueled me,
That's
in a
good.
way that I hadn't been in a long time. And God just really, like my whole takeaway the whole entire time, people are like, oh, how was your weekend? How was your trip? I'm like, God is just so gracious. Like, that's all I had to say. Like, it was like I was filled with so much, but I also didn't have the words to accurately describe like how I left that weekend and left California. And God is just good. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
still rolling off of that, honestly.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into our segment of inner outer circle.
Okay.
It's basically this or that, and you'll say things that you like will be in your inner circle, and if you don't like it, it will be in your outer circle. Okay,
Okay.
so the first one is coffee or tea.
Ooh, I like both, but coffee every day. I
Okay,
need it.
okay. The next one is beach or mountains.
Beach
Okay,
all day.
why beach?
It's just something serene about just being out. Now, I don't want to get in the water, but I'll sit in the sand. I'll enjoy. I will look out over the water and
Listen to the
enjoy,
waves. Yeah,
listen to the waves. I will do all of
yeah,
that. Um, Mountains are cool. Like, I think they're beautiful, and I do want to go like into the mountains more and go places where I can, experience that a little bit more. But right now, give me the beach all day.
okay. The next one is heels or sneakers.
Heels.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Elaborate if you want to.
Mm. At this point in life,
Okay.
I'm probably gonna grab heels if I'm going somewhere, but I have my sneakers on deck though.
Okay.
I have
Right.
my sneakers. Used to be a little sneakerhead, but I've calmed those things down just a little bit. So heels.
Okay. Okay. The last one I will say is this one's not it's not really this or that, but what type of music is in your inner circle?
Um, Honestly, Christian hip hop and R&B is really
Okay.
what I listen to primarily. I love my throwback old school R&B. Like there's nothing like, the music from the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you what's out now. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I just try to be intentional with what I fill my ear gates with.
Yeah.
But I've been loving it like for a while, for a few years now. So Christian hip hop, Christian R&B, worship, and jazz. I've
Listen,
been loving like jazz. I love just listening to jazz instrumentals like all day. Like my kids know, like I'll put that thing on or some lo-fi like real quick. So that's really my
yeah,
jam.
I have to agree with you. I made a like jazz playlist, and it makes me
Yes.
feel like I'm in a movie, like in those little quiet movies from like back in the day with the black and white, and
Yes.
it just, I don't know, it just
It's
does
a
something.
vibe.
It's a
It's
vibe,
a
yeah,
vibe. I love it.
yeah.
I love
No,
it.
it is. Okay, so thank you for that segment. So we're gonna jump into the content of this episode. So this week we'll be talking really about having faith in uncertain times, and so I know that she has some experience with that. I also do too, and so we're just gonna have a conversation about what we did to kind of go through it, and now be on the other side of that
Mhm.
uncertainty, what it looks like now, and we know that like life always is throwing curveballs. Like everything in life comes with ups and downs and difficulties and things that could be expected but might be unexpected. And so we're just going to talk about kind of how we utilize our faith in that time specifically, because I know personally that I couldn't make it without the faith. So we'll just talk
Yeah.
more about that. So start the conversation. I want to know about kind of an early memory in life where you were thrown with the curveball, and kind of how did you feel? What did you do to kind of overcome it? How did you handle it? And then, like, looking back at that, what did you kind of learn to kind of stop the conversation off?
Mm, let's see. That is a really good question. An early memory.
It doesn't have to be like early as like a
What I
kid, but like,
well, the thing that's coming to mind, I can't say that it's necessarily a one-time thing. We're gonna be real vulnerable and transparent here, okay?
okay, yes,
But no, when I think about it, what comes to mind is like when I was a kid. So I don't really have a relationship with my dad, right? He's kind of in and out a little bit, like when I was smaller, but barely. And so I just remember when I was a child, like, you have that childlike hope, or, it's like, okay, well, this person, you just leave the door open for a lot of things. And then you kind of just see who people are and how things kind of play out. But as I look back on it now, it's like while I was able to learn what I needed to learn, I was still able to grow as I needed to grow. I always had that one underlying understanding that I still had a father. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. I just, I didn't perceive it as that then, but it was just like I never was able to fall into a pit. You know what I mean?
right,
Like it was
yeah,
almost like that was there was that inner thing that just never let me fall off the deep end. And I look at people, I'm like, I could have been this way, or I could have turned out this because of, daddy issues. And then I just now I see where God walks me through and is still walking me through understanding him as a father. Because, sometimes when you don't have your earthly father, there's a breakdown with being able to perceive God as
yeah,
dad. You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
I am, while I recognize the struggle that I had, I'm also grateful for it, but also it gives me the ability to have, grace for other people and just kind of really hone in on accepting people where they are, how they are, and still, loving and moving forward the way that I need to.
yeah.
So
No, that's
hopefully that
good.
answers the question.
No, yeah, that was good. And I would say too, like as you've grown from that and matured, um, this is not really just about faith in uncertain times, but how's your faith in general
hmm
kind of grown, and like how's that been for you in your life?
Man, it just as I continue to walk with God and as I continue to grow, the thing that always is at the forefront is for me to remember, right? So even when I look back, I'm able to see where God's hand was. I'm able to see what God did. I'm able to see kind of why he did. Obviously on the back end, you know what I'm saying? It's not fun to
Right.
walk through,
Yeah.
but it's grown my faith the more that I put at the forefront to remember, even like now, like I just finished a book, um, Brainwashed by Manny Arango. And one of the things it talks about is the damage that if we allow our memories to stay like the old things to stay at the forefront, like the damage that it can really do. 'Cause it's like, oh, I missed this, or I wish this, or I wish that, instead of seeing God's hand, instead of seeing God, well, you did this, so I'm going to trust you to keep moving forward. And so and the thing that I've been praying is for God to allow my memories to be marked with his hand. So there's no way that I can remember anything or think on anything of the past or think on anything old and not see him and not still see it as good, and move forward. And so as we're talking about, like, and as I reflect, like that's kind of where it's been growing me. So as I stand in stuff that's uncertain even now, like I'm able to say, you know what, nope, I can cast down that thought. I can take it captive because God, we've already been here. You've already shown me that you're real. You've already shown me that you're true. You've already shown me that you got my back and you have a plan at the end of the day. Like I'm just trying to meet you on the journey where we've already been, right? And so yeah, it's just helped me to grow in my faith and trust in God and his plan at the end of the day, no matter what things look like. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think that's something I'm like kind of working through now is just like remembering who God is, and even if you are not the same person, like I don't know if you um Megan Ashley when she has like in her new,
Yes.
so I listened to her more recent episode and it talked about like where she's like reading stuff in the Bible and like calling to memory different people, and it's like, God, I don't want to be that. I'm not that person. I'm not Paul. I'm not um Mary. I'm not Joseph. I'm not any of these people. But it's like, but that's the same God that covered all of those people in the Bible. And so I think
Yeah.
that's something that I'm like learning, and like as I'm going more in my word of like that, of when I'm reading the word, having the mindset of this is telling me about who God is and not specifically about just the person, right? Like the person is
Right.
great, but it's also about who God is in this story, who God is in this time. And that's helping me, carrying me, reminding me when things are not going well and when things are weird, or when, even if things are good, right? Like even when
Yeah.
things are good, just still knowing that it consistently is the same God that is showing up in all those moments, and that even if you don't think he's showing up, he's going to, and the timing and all that. So that definitely is
That's
so
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to talk about too was um you kind of talked about how you're growing in your faith in a sense of um now and remembering and things like that. Did you always believe in God? Like, was it something that was always in your life? Like, what was that for you?
So I grew up in church. And so I would say kind of a lot like Megan Ashley, which is probably why I love her. Like there's so many parallels there.
Yeah.
But like her, I grew up in church. So, and my grandma was like, yeah, we going. Like, no ifs, ands, buts. You gonna sing, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. But I can honestly say I didn't begin to really tap into relationship or even like really be super intentional about that or begin to even understand what it means to be intentional about that until I got to college. If I'm being 100, like, if I'm being honest, when I got to college is when I was like, oh, like there's something to this for me to do. There's a part that I specifically have to play beyond like just getting up and going to church because my granny made me go. Or, you know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
in that sense, like I've known of God, had, faith per se. But it started to get, I feel like my true journey really began when I hit college. And then, of course, there's bumps
Ebbs and
and ebbs and
flows.
flows. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I remember in 2020, there was a time where, not that I left the faith or anything, but I remember I was just in a really hard place, personally. And I was seeking truth. Like, that's it. Like, it wasn't even that I can ever even say, oh, yeah, I was seeking God. But the thing that I also knew, like, as I'm seeking this truth and seeking to understand and, whatever, the one thing I couldn't do was not read my Bible. And so through that wrestling and asking questions and, you know what I mean, even looking into other things, like not only did I have to go back and be like, you know what, God, I'm sorry I even opened that door. I'm sorry I even played you like that. But I thank you that you still gave me, the wherewithal to be like, read your Bible. Regardless of what you're looking at, read this word. Like it's true. And that unlocked a lot for me
Yeah.
after that point. So
No,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. And so, not thinking about early memories, but thinking about kind of currently as you're an adult,
Mhm.
how has like holding on to faith and when things are difficult, like do you, or I guess my other question, let me, before I go there, how do you typically respond in times of uncertainty? Like if something were to go not your way immediately, what's your like natural reaction, and then what do you have to then like shift to? Because I know for me, like it's gonna shed a few tears,
Yeah.
a little angry first, and then I'll okay,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, what are we gonna do about it? And like then I can shift. But like, what's your natural response typically?
No, that is my natural response. Is to like get like, oh, what's going on? Let me figure this out. Boom, boom, boom. But I'm also literally right now like walking through like breaking that down and just remaining at a level place. Um, and I think because I was literally just thinking about this the other day, I'm like, huh, my responses are getting a little different.
Okay,
I'm a little less wound up. I say, okay, God, you're working on me a little bit. But
right,
it because essentially what God cares about our feelings, that I know. So just putting into practice, taking those feelings to Him, but also reminding myself of truth at the same time. That's something that I've had to be really intentional about for sure. And like I said, even that remembering part, remembering to take those things to Him, but also remembering that, hey, I've been in a situation similar to this. And even if it's not exactly the same, I've been in a place where I've needed you and you've shown up, period.
mm,
But also, even beyond that, I know you have a plan and a purpose. So anything that you allow, like that's been like my staple, even for the year, I feel like it's anything that God allows is good. So instead of me fixating and focusing on this thing that I'm not really fond of or that I prefer not to be dealing with, it's like, okay, God, let me shift my thinking. Let me shift my
mm,
perspectives to you being good, to this being good for me. Essentially, now, what is it that you're trying to uproot or what is it that you're trying to plant? And how can I like walk this thing out? Like, how can I, embody this or whatever it is that you're trying to do where I'm going, give me wisdom to even see it and perceive it so that I can move in the direction that you want me to go through this.
yeah,
So yeah, shifting my perspective on things has helped a lot and just taking thoughts captive. And like I said, just turning that thing around, like not focusing too hard on that. Like, okay,
yeah.
God, yeah.
That's it. My question would be like, what does that practically look like for you? Because I think that sometimes what my friends ask me, it's like we can say things like, taking your thoughts captive and different things like that. But for
Mhm.
you, what does that practically look like? So that way you're able to not just say that I'm taking my thoughts captive, but I'm actually am taking my thoughts captive at a consistent, like on a consistent basis.
No, that's a really good question. That's a question I used to ask a lot, and I'm learning what that looks like. Sometimes it looks like me literally talking to myself, like, girl, no, we're not
Yeah.
gonna do that. Like literally saying it out loud, and a person walking by might think I'm crazy talking to the wind. But sometimes I need to say it out loud the same way I need to declare God's promises and God's truths. Like I need to tell myself and my flesh have several seats and pick up the word and replace it with that. Sometimes it looks like journaling. Sometimes it does look like sitting at the feet of the Lord and just crying out. You know what I mean? But again, still choosing. It's because at the end of the day, it's a choice. A lot of it is a choice to say,
Mm.
you know what? I am going to put this down. And the moment I feel like it's rising up, I'm going to sit it down again,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
That's
And then,
good.
you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that the thoughts won't come. It doesn't mean that, whatever feelings, whether it's anxiety or, some type of fear or whatever, it doesn't mean that it won't rise up within you. But those are only indicators, right? But we have the authority and we have the power. And so just really taking the word as is and applying it. And God says, I have authority, so I have authority, so I'm going to use it right now. And I'm going to
Yeah.
stand in it. Like people say, stand 10 toes down. I'm going to stand 10
Literally.
toes down on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just make that choice and not allow myself to go backwards and not allow myself to entertain thoughts that are contrary to that.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier said than done for sure. But the more you practice it and as the more I practice it, the more I see that it works. And you're able to move past it. But for sure, always seek the Lord, always take him to him in prayer. I'll ask the questions, ask the hard questions, and wait on a response. That's also a thing. Like I feel like I in prayer, like I would be just like, God, I need you to do this. God, da da da. Amen. Bye. And it's like, no, like I need to wait for him to respond. He might have some strategy for me to get out of this or to deal with this, or he
Hmm.
might point me to the word where he can really just break that thing open. You know what I mean? And it's just like waiting and inviting him into the situation, inviting him into how I feel so that he can comfort me. It said the word says he's a comforter. And so allowing him to be that, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Jonathan McReynolds has a song called Situation, and that I'll never forget when I first heard
Yeah.
that song, it opened my mind because at that point in life, I was not inviting God in. Like,
Yeah.
I would seek and ask, and like, yeah, there were times where like I know He was there and He was with me, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's so different when you're actually saying like, "Hey, God, I'm inviting you in this moment right now. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
inviting you in. I'm I am inviting you in this problem. I'm inviting you in this feeling with me. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
as much as we think that we can do it on our own, we cannot. And so when we invite Him in to be there in those feelings, in those thoughts, in those things by ourselves, and I think that's the only way a lot of times where you can catch your thoughts. Because I know for me, like,
Yeah.
your thoughts will run rampant if you don't let it, especially in times of uncertainty. Like, I think that's the time the most for me where
Yes.
my thoughts are like, oh, like, no, it's not gonna work out, like, or, I don't see no way out, or all these other things.
Yeah.
And it literally takes me inviting and not just seeking Him, right? Because the seeking Him is very important, but like, God, my thoughts are running crazy, and like, what we gonna what we gonna do?
What we gonna
Like,
do?
what we gonna
Yeah.
do? Like, because I know I can't stop all these thoughts by myself. Like, I know I don't have the power. Like, I know that I'm incapable of that, and so I need you to walk with me and help me and guide me and give me the tools and things like that. And
Yeah.
um, we also have to remember too, like, the things that we pray for, God will really reveal and show up, but we also have to be receptive to those moments in which we pray for. So if we're praying for answers or guidance, where it's like the time that what you're saying, like, I could pray and then leave, and He's giving the guidance and the information, but being receptive
Mm-hmm.
and open and knowing that this is what it is, and even if it looks different from what you typically or what you thought was going to happen, being receptive to that the same. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That's
For
so good.
me, I have a question. So what
Yeah.
scriptures come to mind that like kind of,
Ooh.
or things that you kind of meditate on or think about when things get difficult, or different things like that?
Ooh. I mean, one is of course, like I just mentioned before, the fact that God has a plan. Like he knew me before I was formed in my mother's womb. And that grounds me a lot.
Mm.
Um, just really I've been really holding on as I'm thinking about it. Like I've really been hanging on to that thing like no other, which is where that whole idea of like whatever God allows is good. Like at the end of the day, like this is already predestinated. Like it's fine. I'm good as long as I'm trying to follow him. Like that's it. So that's one that comes to mind immediately. Um, and then I want to say in Psalm 119, mm, let me see. I might need to pull this up because I don't want to get it wrong. Ugh, hold on. Whoa. Uh-oh. I want to say it's Psalm 119, 36, 34, 34 and 36, 34 to 36, I think it is. Um, but it's just talking about like inclining my heart to God, right? And to the word
Mm,
and not seeking things for selfish gain. Because it's easy, like in the things that I do, or, just a lot in just anything, anybody, whatever you're trying to do, like it's easy to turn over into from the, okay, God is calling me to do this to let me do this because I want to get this place or I want to get that place, or you know what I mean? And so just keeping that in mind, just for God to incline my heart to his testimonies and not for selfish gain, like that is definitely something that I keep at the forefront. And then First Peter 4 and 10, where it talks about using your gifts, right? And how God, gives us these gifts, but to serve other people. So just having the mindset of serving, even when I'm doing the mundane things in the house, like even yesterday, I was like, man, I do not want to clean these dishes. I don't want to fix another meal. I don't want to give another snack. I don't want to do anything, but I had to literally tell myself like, no, like this is good. Like your grace for this, like you it's good, right?
yeah.
Um and so yeah, I think those are the scriptures that come to mind. I'm trying to see.
Yeah,
there's anything
mine
else, but those are the
mine
ones. Yeah.
is Romans 8:28, and
Mm,
basically like kind of all things work to the good of those who trust the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And
yeah.
so, that I actually have it tattooed on me right here, just because like that's
Oh,
a
nice.
constant reminder of like all things. It didn't say some
Yeah.
things. It didn't say the good things. It said
Yeah.
all things are. So like even if
I
I
know
don't
that's
think that
right.
it, even when I don't think it is, I think I'm reminded daily that like even if I don't see it, it's good.
It's good.
Even if I don't think it's good,
It's
right?
good.
Like it's His good, and His good is superior. His good is perfect. His good is the best. So like
Yeah.
that's been for me something that has constantly and always reminded me of like it don't matter. It's gonna be
It
good.
doesn't matter.
It's gonna
Period.
be good.
And that's the other scripture. I'm like, I know I'm forgetting something else, but yeah, that goes
Yeah.
exactly with what I'm on to in this season for sure.
Yeah. And then I guess outside of faith, kind of what other tools do you utilize kind of in those times to like ground yourself or to bring yourself back down when you do feel kind of like at heightened emotions or things are just like not working out? Like do you have any other tools that you utilize if you have any?
I I can't say that I have any hardcore ones. I can
Hmm.
say that I'm putting into practice new ones right now.
Okay.
Which overall should have been something that I've been doing. So even doing things like going for a walk or going
Yeah.
to work out, getting back to reading, just reading books and things like that, doing things that bring me joy, finding the space and the time, which my husband coaches football, so it's kind of hard to have the
Okay.
space in the room to be able to do that with two little boys at home.
Yeah.
But taking advantage of the time that I have and then just really being open to God changing that around, you know what I mean? But just really just taking time to do things that I find joy in and helping people build their brands and, strategies and things like that. Like those things bring, I'm a creative. So
Yeah.
singing, creating things, putting some stuff together, planning some things, like that's right up my alley. So when I get a chance to do those things and serve in that way, it it blesses me. So I would say
That's
that.
good. No, yeah. I mean
Yeah.
those are you said those are not tools, those are actually tools. Those are very much
I
tools.
mean,
Even if you
I
don't
need them to
even
be more dedicated. Yeah, I need to be more
okay.
disciplined in them, which is what I'm building. I'm building back up my disciplines in those areas, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, well, kind of ending the episode, obviously, you know that we do the C's 2 cents. And so I would love you to share the C's 2 cents of like any advice you would give to someone who is like going through uncertainty right now, kind of some words of encouragement or anything like that that you would say.
I would say to rest in the fullness of God, like, and truth. Like, just allow yourself to really rest and allow yourself to really allow and both challenge yourself to really trust Him,
Mm,
right? Trusting, like we talked about, like the things that we know that all things work together for good, not our good and what we think is good, not, what we feel like we want to be good, but God's definition and version of good, right? And that is superior to any and everything that we could ever desire. And we have to know that His plan is good and it's better. So being okay with His plan being better, even if it doesn't look like what you want, I think that's a resolve that I would encourage everybody to kind of come to and enjoy the ride.
yeah.
Enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Well, that was good. Y'all can take her advice or not. That is just her 2 cents. Thank you so much, Virginia, for joining this episode. Um, as my first like kind of virtual guest. I'm very excited to
Yeah.
have you joining. So thank you so much for coming. Everyone, all the listeners, thank you so much for listening. If you like anything that you heard, please be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, leave comments on Apple Podcasts if you listen there, all the things. Let us know how you feel about the episode. Let us know your favorite comments or anything like that. And that's in the episode. Thank you guys so much and go conquer your week. Bye,
Thank you for having
guys.
me. Bye, guys.